Welcome to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, bringing baby boomers proven strategies and innovative products for getting fit, staying fit, so you can live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Here's your host, best-selling author and fitness advocate, Phil Ferris.
This is Phil Ferris, and welcome to our show. Never Too Late for Fitness Radio provides answers and straight talk about fitness, nutrition, and healthy lifestyles for people over 50. Our goal is to educate and advocate health and fitness strategies that help you to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. On some shows, we feature everyday people like you and me who have acted and reclaimed their health and fitness. We all love a success story, especially if the person is facing the same challenges we are. Hearing real success stories helps inform, motivate, and inspire us to live a healthier life. On other shows like today's, we focus on health and fitness industry professionals who share how they help their clients who are over 50 achieve their goals. If you are a woman over 40 and dealing with pre-menopause and post-menopause, this interview is for you. If you are finding it difficult to find the time and motivation to make you and your fitness a priority, this interview is for you. My guest today is a mom who has gone through 5 pregnancies and has 5 great kids, but has had to work very hard on her health and fitness ups and downs. So now she is in a position to help other women on their fitness journey. My guest is Drenda Weldon, certified fitness instructor, health and wellness coach, who teaches fitness classes to women in Cary, Crystal Lake, and Island Lake. She is ready to encourage you on your journey to strength for your body, heart, and mind to thrive, not just survive. Well, Drenda, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Phil.
Well, maybe we could start where you describe a little bit about your REFIT program, who it's for and how it's designed and what's involved in it.
Okay, yes. So REFIT is a brand, and each instructor who's teaching a class kind of can tweak it to their dynamic and demographic they have. And so ours is called REFIT plus Renewal Women's Fitness. And we meet at a church in Cary. We focus on being able to reach all women, but the ones that tend to come to our class and feel like it's a good fit for them are women that are 40 and over, because we are very good at modifying the class for any injuries or issues that women over 40 can have. And so, but we try to be a very encouraging group there, where we try to help women feel welcome no matter what size or what stage you're at. And of course, we focus on having fun. And then at the end, we always focus on a little bit of heart time in the Bible and a little bit of a health tip to help keep us just thinking of the whole body, physically, mentally, emotionally, and just focusing on whatever health tips that we can help on that journey along the way.
You mentioned that the women that were over 40 tend to have some issues or challenges that they may have. What are some of them, the more common ones they have that make your program seem very attractive for them?
Right. Well, to be honest, we've had some younger moms that'll come, but they're still in the stage where they've got the little ones. But so in your 40s, you're past having the little ones, but because you've given so much of yourself to your family, your husband, your kids, and everyone around you, that this is finally a time where you realize I need to address and fill my own cup. So we really try to make the women feel so welcome that they'll be motivated to be consistent in coming and focusing on their own health. So we really want to focus on the women just being happy with progress, not perfection. You're not like trying to be impressed by people around you or impress the others, to help them where they're at. And so sometimes if there's women that have like injuries, some joint issues, or even to the point where we've had some women where they just have aches and pains, where sometimes we're like, okay, well, here, pull out a chair. We can do some of our fitness from the chair, or we give them modifications to help them. But then it's so awesome to see these women when they're consistently coming where their balance improves, or those injuries don't feel as bad, or their cardio, their stamina improves. And so we just help them along on that journey and focus on just being able to pour into our bodies, focus on our cardio, our toning and balance. And then, of course, just giving them good pointers on diet. And as women sometimes our hormones make it where we're different. We can't just do some hard cardio like a 20-year-old, 30-year-old man can do and it be good for them. We have to worry about our hormones, our adrenals. And so we kind of, where we'll tweak it where the dance fitness has a little bit of high intensity, but then we kind of, it's almost like a roller coaster where we'll have high intensity and then we go down and kind of recovery, but still active recovery, and then back and forth, and then a very good stretching at the end. In fact, during the stretching time is when we also will read like a Bible devotional or a thought for the day. So we get a really good stretching time in there.
You mentioned the dance-oriented program. Maybe you just describe what a typical program might look like. What would someone experience if they came in there for the first time? Because when you say dance program, that can be everything from jazzercise to hip hop to Richard Simmons. So there's that's a broad landscape there. So if you can kind of describe what yours is about and just how they would go through the program.
Well, and you know what? We have a great variety because I and myself and my other instructor that helps lead, we both have multiple certifications. So not only REFIT, we also have Zumba, and she has Bali X. And so we kind of have a nice variety to pick from for different kinds of styles. So we don't just necessarily do one style. And in fact, we will even incorporate a little bit of weights with, because I also do body toning in one of my other venues that I teach at. So we kind of do a good combination, but the dance tends to lean towards just anything that's good exercise, so any kind of movement, but we will lead the class where you kind of just follow whatever the instructor's doing. And we try to find really fun, motivating, and encouraging family-friendly music. So we tend to have some Christian music, or we'll have some Latin music or some Bollywood style music, whatever's popular. And sometimes we'll have, some good oldies from, whatever past generations, past, 80s, 90s and such. So we try to really mix it up, but basically it's you come in there, you get ready to move to whatever music we're playing, follow the instructor, and we try to make it fun. So that way it's a fun time to come. It's not a drudgery. And that's what is so fun about having dance, because you'll be doing squats, or you might be doing some kind of lunges, but it doesn't seem like that's just all you're doing, because it's mixed in there in the song with the other movements we're doing.
So it sounds like it's movement based, but you're using dance is kind of the sugar that makes the medicine go down.
Yes, exactly. I love that analogy.
And so what are some of the misconceptions that people may have about a dance program that may prevent them from, taking you up and attending a program?
Yes, I know. And I've heard some people, they might say, oh, well, dance, that doesn't seem like a very good workout. I really want to feel like I've put in some good effort. But dance, it really is good workout. I mean, it incorporates it all with, you get that heart rate going, you get the cardio, and your respiratory is going. And then you're toning, because when you're doing a little bit of repetitive movements, you're getting in that toning, especially if there's some squats or a lot of arm movements, when you're getting those arms up in the air and moving them around, which most dances, you have to do that. At the end of the day, after the end of the workout, you can feel that. But some people might not think that they're getting a workout, but once you are consistent with it, you can see results. You can see that you've toned up, and your stamina, even your balance. That's some of my real loyal ladies that come to our REFIT class. They will say, wow, at first I couldn't stand on one leg and do, some crunches with the other leg. But now after, being in the class for a couple months, I'm really good at it, which is such a good skill to have when it comes to, having to put on, stand up and put each leg in a pants. It's like it's so awesome to have balance that is improved over time, because we do tend to lose that as we age. So that's the part where we really get all aspects of health in a dance fitness class.
Can you give some other examples of some of the either the movements or the areas that you try and focus on so that people can get an idea of how they would benefit and how the program would go to get those benefits?
Right. Well, and so basically when we start out a class, we have a little bit of warm-up movement where it'll be maybe a slower song or just not an intense, fast beat song. And then we get in there and we'll get some high cardio, higher impact songs going with movements that'll be a little faster. But of course, if you need modifications, we help guide you if you're not ready for going, too fast. Like we will have songs that are strictly toning, where it's more, it'll be a little more squat or lunges or standing crunches. But then we will have those movements that are maybe a little more in the Latin form where you're just moving and it's all of the movement of the hips that helps tone the hips and areas that we really need to work on when we especially sit so much, especially now. We've got to be careful with all the sitting we might be doing while we're, safe at home. And then the cognitive part, where you are really working the brain muscle is getting a good workout, where you're having to remember maybe the movements or just focusing on what the instructor's doing and following them. And then you get familiar with the songs that we'll have, because we'll have some of the same songs repeated, every class or so, and then we'll bring in new ones here periodically, maybe 1 or 2 a month. But you'll get used to the songs where you can really push yourself and really try to maybe get the workout a little more intensified. So the cognitive part and the balance and even just the flexibility of movement and moving areas of maybe your hips and your back, where you increase a little bit more flexibility and strength, which is all of those that encompasses dance with a little extra toning movements that we have at REFIT that really helps the whole body become stronger and healthier overall.
Now, I know some people, myself included, get intimidated by dance because what if I don't remember the steps? And, it's okay if you're dancing in a big crowd like at a wedding, but if you're actually having to follow something and being wrong is more terrifying to some than others. How do you overcome that or help people overcome that and still get the workout?
And that's funny you should mention that. I'm so glad you did, because there's times when Marina and I, myself, as instructors, will make mistakes. And we're like, oh, well, I guess we're going to do this movement today. So we try to make it so welcoming and very low key, where it's like we call it, oh, I'm doing a little extra solo dancing here, guys, because I forgot which step I was doing. So we encourage the ladies, just move. And then if you get, if you make mistakes or you don't get the step right away, we try to be very helpful about breaking it down in the beginning. Like, okay, we're going to do this box step where you have to cross over one leg over the other and go back and forth. Or we give lots of cues, not only like we might point which direction we're going to turn or step, but I tend to say, be very verbal. Like I said, okay, we're going 2 steps to the left, guys, or right, now we're going to step left or step right. So we make it very user-friendly when it comes to anybody who might be intimidated about making a mistake in the dance steps. But at the same time, we make it fun. Even if we make mistakes, we say, hey, here's a new move, guys. We're trying something different. I made a mistake. Or even if you make a mistake, we just enjoy the movement together. Like, it's almost like a little dance party we have. It's just for fun.
Okay. Sounds like fun. I mean, the question on this may be kind of a dumb question, but, I always wondered, when you're doing go to your right, are you talking about your right or their right? And are you facing them? Mm-hmm. Or is your back to them? So there's always that was always when I tried to do group dances, that was always they said, go to your right. And my auditory cue says, okay, I'm going to go to my right, but she's going left. So which way is it?
Right. So usually we will start out where it's almost like you're looking at yourself in a mirror.
Okay. So
you will just mirror me. But if I'm giving a verbal cue, I'm telling you to go to your right, even though like maybe it's technically I'm going to my left, but I'm showing you. So yeah, as an instructor, most of the dance certification companies teach you to as the instructor, you always lead left. So that way it's more comfortable for your participants to lead on their right, because that's more natural for us, especially here in America. You go always walk on the right, but there are times where we will turn around and say, okay, follow me because this might be a little trickier move, or we have to walk forward. And I don't want you to get confused by me walking towards you and thinking, oh, am I going back or forward? So yes, in REFIT, Maureen and I definitely trying to be as helpful as possible to make sure people understand it and don't get flustered. And even if you do, we're like, oh, well, here, we'll step it out. And quite often in the classes, both of us will be there. Sometimes we aren't both there. We might have to just teach individually. But sometimes if we're both there, like one of us will show, okay, here's the low impact version. Hey, follow her if you don't want to jump. If you don't want to do a jumping jack here, just tap with your foot. So we always try to make it very user-friendly, easy to follow.
Now, could you perhaps give us a couple, maybe some examples of success stories that people may have had? People that have been there for a while, what are they likely to experience? We can't see it, but you can describe without naming names. But just here's where she started, and here's where she is now, and here are the things that she got from this program.
All right, so I've got a couple ladies that we have a 6 a.m. class. Well, normally, we haven't been doing the 6 a.m. now with our stay home time, but for our normal 6 a.m. on Thursday class, we had a couple ladies that would come, and they were a little bit like, oh, I'm doing this because I know I need to work out, but I'm not so sure I'm going to be any good at it. And after about a couple months, they both were impressed. They're like, wow, I'm getting the moves a little faster, because it's like your body that, just like having to learn any skill, you eventually, it comes more naturally. And so a couple of the ladies were so impressed with themselves, and they felt very fulfilled. We're like, I'm getting your steps quicker now. It doesn't take me so long to learn a song. Like before, it would take them several times. And now, now they're like, wow, I'm getting it on the first or second try. I'll have to say a couple of the women. And these women that I'm referring to are, I believe, one's in her late 50s and one is in her early 60s. And so, and they hadn't worked out for a while, other than doing like maybe a treadmill at home or something. So so this was new for them. And so for them, they were so happy. And I was so happy. It was just an awesome feeling for me to see that growth in them, where they were able to catch on quicker. And then one of the women, she had some pain in one of her feet, where it just was a little sore. So she would always make sure she did her workout we have rugs for our stretching time, or a mat. And she would do it on that at first, but then now she feels that doing the workout helped reduce her stress levels, where it helped reduce inflammation in her body, where she feels a lot more, less inflammation, less stiffness in her body, where now she doesn't have to do the workout on the mat or the rug, where she was just feeling that all of this motion helped her body. In fact, one of the terms we like to say in class is motion is lotion for the joints, where it helps them move better. That's
great. Now I want to move to an issue that's pretty prevalent with the population that you work with, and that's the woman that's in her 40s and taking care of the family, and then all of a sudden recognize that she needs to fill her own cup, that she has been neglecting herself. But the biggest issue they have is time.
Yeah.
So how do you help them overcome that challenge and help them find the time for themselves?
Yes. Well, and I will say, really, once they come to a class or two and they see that there's a group of ladies there that are encouraging them to come, and then that's, as an instructor, I feel one of my titles would be encourager. So I encourage people, come try the class. And then once you come, I encourage them, be consistent, because, I might post or text them to encourage them in a very gentle way. No, I don't want anyone ever to feel like they're just doing it out of complete obligation, but encourage them, pour into themselves, and encourage them to be consistent, because I'm there consistently. So I'm there preparing for them, a fun class, picking out, the music and the routines and practicing them to be prepared for them. But then also it helps when the other ladies encourage each other to come. And then I have my story that I share just a little bit, where I I'm a mom of 5, and physically I've always worked out. So I've, always been on top of that part of it. I encourage them, even in our health tip time, that you have to do different things to help fill you up, whether it be, go home and take a bubble bath or, an Epsom salt bath, or make sure you have time to read and have a cup of tea, to have some downtime and rest. Because in my story, I wasn't doing a very good job of resting, and I ended up having some major health issues and autoimmune issues that I had to heal from, so then I could come back to being able to work out and give to my family, because it kind of had stopped and had come to a standstill because I wasn't taking care of myself. And so with my story, my testimony, I can kind of encourage them also.
And the realization that you had that you can share is the fact that you did all this work and you pushed yourself so you could take care of the family, but then you got to the point where you couldn't.
Right.
Because your body and your emotions and spirits wouldn't let you. So,
exactly.
so by, taking care of yourself is probably the best way that you can take care of others, so you can give the best of yourself to them.
Absolutely. And so that is one of the things we try to encourage the ladies to make your health a priority. So then you can be useful to others, and give and care and love for others. Otherwise you are unable to, just like what they tell you when you're on an airplane, to put your own oxygen mask on first, and then you can help someone else. Because otherwise, if you aren't taking care of yourself, you won't be able to help the person next to you.
That makes a lot of sense. We talked about we've got this self-imposed stay-at-home time. Pandemic has dramatically changed the way everybody looks at and experiences fitness. Tell us a little bit about how it's impacting your students and how you're helping them deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. This is a big challenge. I know. So for my refit classes, we haven't started back up, obviously, in our church, because we are unable to meet together as a group. So one of the things that we're encouraging the ladies right now is the REFIT brand, the company that started in Waco, Texas. Those instructors who started the business, they actually have been providing free classes, which is huge, because usually, it's a paid membership you would have to do to have their fitness classes on demand. So right now they're offering them for free. And then Marina and I, the other instructor at our church here in Cary, we are going to begin offering, in fact, just this week, we're starting a Zoom class through Zoom, where we'll be able to offer just a class where we can connect visually. And it's so nice that with Zoom, you can see each other, you can see all the people participating. But other than that, until then, we've just been emailing and texting. And then honestly, most of the ladies that do come to the class, we go to the same church. So we've been on a couple social times or prayer times through Zoom through the church. So we've been able to stay connected. But right now, so we're hoping to get a little bit better connected now since it's gone so long. At first we didn't think it would go this long, but it is. So
why is it important? Why do you think it's important to get that connection and to reach out to people, not just in the sense of here's the class, because you can get a class anywhere.
Right.
But why is it important now to make those connections?
Right. And that's one of those things where we realize, honestly, our immune system, the strength of it is a lot of it so much in our mental state, our emotional state. And to be able to connect with your friends, your community, your people that are your community or family group is so vital to keeping our mental and emotional health strong. So we trying to connect that way helps, just helps the mood, where you just get a smile on your face, which leads to a healthier whole frame of mind when you're able to connect or just chat with a friend that you were used to seeing on a weekly basis. So we are trying to at least connect that way, just to help us all stay emotionally healthy, because it can be monotonous to have the same old day, same four walls, where we need to get out a little bit, if not physically, but at least through Zoom or through texting or calling.
We still need that connection, even though it may be electronically driven.
Yes.
Now, you made a decision a while ago to become a health coach. Can you tell me a little about what led you down that path?
Yes. So becoming a health coach was something that I ended up kind of almost stumbling into, like I said, with my own health struggles. I just had to do my own research because I would hop from different doctors to try to find, because I unfortunately had an issue where many doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And I had to kind of be my own little investigator. And once I started doing that, and then I realized I found, online where you could actually take courses to help others through that same journey. And so that's where I end up starting realizing that I needed to look more into holistic and functional medicine, just to find, because the conventional doctors and conventional medicine was of no use to me. It didn't help. It didn't fix my issues. But the functional part, holistic, natural, whole foods, clean eating, and then just learning how to de-stress. I ended up having to do acupuncture or massage to just help my body relax because it was just overstressed. And that's what caused my health issues. Once I did all that learning and research, I realized I have all of these gems that I'd love to help others with. So the health coaching came out of that. And so now I feel I'm equipped, and then I also want to continue learning to see what else is out there that's helpful for us to stay strong, especially right now, to help our immune systems stay strong too.
Based on your experience as a health coach and instructor, what insights or words of wisdom can you share people that will help them get through the rest of this interruption that we're going through now? We don't know if it's going to be days, weeks, months,
right.
And it's very uncertain. It's very uncharted, which puts us all in a state of stress. Which, as you mentioned, do this.
Yes, one of the things that I know is, Can you hear me, Phil?
Yep, I can.
All right. It felt like you cut off there. But yeah, what we've touched on before is filling our cups, filling up, finding what brings you some joy, what helps you have a healthy state of mind, whether it's, going for a walk outside. Of course, if you're able to get some fresh air and sunshine, that is such an immunity boost. Make sure you stay on that. And then, like we talked about, connecting with people. If you can't physically see people, at least on electronic devices where we digitally can connect. Those help the heart and the mind so much. And then, of course, I'm a big advocate of putting into your body what's healthy, what's going to nourish and make you strong, especially the immune system. So, of course, I'm going to recommend eating whole foods that are, natural foods, lots of veggies, lots of organic foods, not putting, the pesticides and toxins in our bodies if we can avoid it. So those are the best parts to just keep our body, mind, and heart strong. And then my other big thing is starting your day out with some time of reflection. I know I'm a Christian, so I'm going to recommend the Bible for me and anyone else who would like to do that. But whatever you can find, some kind of reading, some kind of time in your day to let your mind reflect and just be calm and just think, and to let it be quiet, have times of stillness. And then, of course, times of movement, because we probably are getting a little bit more stillness being in our home so much, but having times of movement too, where we are able to get exercise. So those are the biggest tips I have.
Well, those sounds like good words of wisdom. Just like the you talk to your women, the ones that do it consistently are the ones that get better results. The people that consistently eat well and go out and laugh and connect and do that every day, less burdens on their immune system and their body and their state of mind. So consistently apply things that will make you feel better, that will make you feel healthier. And I kind of look at this as kind of a big detox, taking bad stuff out of my life and only putting good stuff in, because it is a chance to unpack and repack a lot of what we do in our lives because we don't have the normal distractions that we had before. I know that you teach different programs, around the area. If people want to learn more about your programs and where you teach, both now and after when we reopen the world again, where should they go?
Okay, well, I do have a website, and it's called growingthewholehome.com. And so that one, it doesn't have as much of my fitness information on it, but that directly connects to my Facebook page for Growing the Whole Home. That lists all of my fitness classes that I have. Otherwise, just going to the REFIT Revolution website, they have where you can look up an instructor. And so you would look up Drenda Weldon. And same for Zumba. If you go to the Zumba website and look for instructors, and you can find Drenda Weldon. And so I teach those. And then I also teach through the Crystal Lake Park District, which of course right now that is not happening. Yeah, any government type places, those are closed. But I do teach body toning and body sculpting cardio classes through the Crystal Lake Park District. And so going through their website, you would find, at least through their brochure, you'll see the classes that'll be coming up. They are still hoping and planning for summer or the end of spring. So hopefully, Lord willing, that we'll have some classes that'll start back up sometime soon. And even if it's like limited access, so you'll have to get on there and find out what classes are available and how many participants they're allowing in a class now. But those are the places to find me.
Well, great. Well, Drenda, thank you so much for being on the show and for sharing your insights and your experience and also a little bit about your journey. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate being on your show. This has been awesome.
Great. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
You've been listening to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, hosted by Phil Ferris. To learn more about the guests or resources on our show today, or to listen to past episodes, go to nevertoolateforfitness.com.